It's bogus, obviously. Caitlin Clark, almost unanimous, -1. Angel Reese received one vote, one first place vote for Rookie of the Year.
The WNBA is in the news again, but not for great games or amazing shots. This time, it's about a drama involving a famous player who seems to have forgotten what basketball is really about. Sheryl Swoopes, the first player ever signed to the WNBA, has been fired. Why? She voted against Caitlin Clark for Rookie of the Year. Yes, the same Caitlin Clark who broke records and amazed fans during her short time in the WNBA. Swoopes has won many championships and awards in her career, but this time, she went too far. She voted for Angel Reese instead of Clark, even though everyone knew Clark deserved to win.
WNBA, I mean, they're driving me bat blank crazy because, well, they won't shut up. It's like drama after drama, and I guess it's smart. She told us women in sports don't want to see other women in sports succeed. Now, Sheryl Swoopes certainly is #1 on that hit parade.
The WNBA players are creating a lot of drama lately. It's one thing after another, and maybe they're doing it to keep people talking. But Swoopes took it too far. She said women in sports don't want other women to succeed. Well, Sheryl, you're the perfect example of that now. Reese wasn't even close to being as good as Clark, but Swoopes thought she could get away with this vote. Someone said Swoopes gets to vote. Well, that didn't work out well for her, did it? Now she's lost her job, and it seems fair. What's happening to Swoopes now is what she deserves. You probably agree. It's clear bias and jealousy. It's a Swoopes problem.
Sheryl Swoopes now has come up with her new excuse. It's not Caitlin Clark. I like Caitlin Clark. It's a hater fan. Tweeting out, FYI, I was never supposed to do the game.
Let's go back to October 3rd, 2024. It was a big day for the WNBA. Everyone was excited because Caitlin Clark, the amazing rookie, was playing in her first playoff game. People couldn't wait to see it. Clark had been playing incredibly well all season. She was the WNBA's new star. Basketball fans were glued to their TVs waiting to see her play, and she did play amazingly, just like she had all year. During the playoffs, they announced the Rookie of the Year. Everyone knew Clark would win. She had been the best player all season. When they said her name as the winner, no one was surprised. It was obvious. But then we found out something strange. Clark got 66 out of 67 first-place votes. Who didn't vote for her? Everyone was shocked. Then we learned it was Sheryl Swoopes. Yes, the famous Sheryl Swoopes had voted for Angel Reese instead. Everyone in the WNBA world was stunned. Swoopes is a big deal in basketball. She's won 3 WNBA MVPs, 4 championships, and an Olympic gold medal. She's in the Hall of Fame, and yet she voted against Clark, who had played better than anyone all season.
Never supposed to do the game. Also, I do not hate Caitlin. It's a lot of her fans that are just flat out mean and evil.
People online were angry. Why would someone like Swoopes make such a strange choice? It was clear she wasn't voting based on how well the players had played. There was something else going on. We found out that Swoopes had been supporting Reese all season. She wasn't just cheering for her. She made it clear she was voting for Reese because of race, not skill. She even said, "I will always support my race." At the time, people didn't think much of it. But now, with this vote, it meant something different.
A lot of people had been speculating if Sheryl Swoopes was going to cover this game because up until now she has not been able to say anything nice about Caitlin Clark, nor has she been able to even speak her name.
Turns out, Swoopes had been in recent.
Fans were really angry. This wasn't just about Clark not getting a vote. It was about what that vote meant. Clark had played amazingly in the WNBA. She scored an average of 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. She even got her team, the Indiana Fever, into the playoffs for the first time in almost 10 years. And for what? To lose a vote to Angel Reese, who played well but wasn't nearly as good as Clark.
Is a catastrophic meltdown. She's throwing away her reputation and friendships and relevancy. It's Caitlin Clark derangement syndrome. It's unchecked bigotry and jealousy.
Swoopes openly admitted her vote for Reese was influenced by race, not performance, choosing Reese because they share the same race. However, many believe her actions were driven by jealousy toward Clark rather than fairness. This turned from a talk about basketball into a much bigger, messier argument. People on social media were really upset. They called out Swoopes for voting based on race instead of skill. One angry fan wrote online, "Swoopes just showed her true colors. This vote wasn't about who played better, it was about keeping things the way they've always been." Another said, "Caitlin Clark deserved every vote. What's happening here is awful." They had a point. Clark's season wasn't just about her stats. She changed what it means to be a rookie in the WNBA. But that wasn't enough for Swoopes.
You can't give a mea culpa. You almost have to just say, you know what, I'm going to stand in the paint here. I'm going to live or die with this. And Jason, she's dying a lot. Over.
Things got even worse when people started talking about how this wasn't the first time Clark had problems with other players. All season, there had been whispers about tension between her and some of the older black players. Some people thought Clark was getting too much attention because she's white. Others thought the other players were just jealous. After all, Clark came in, played amazingly, and became the star of the league. Swoopes didn't try to hide what she was doing. She had said from the start that she was supporting her race, and this vote showed that. But fans weren't happy about it. They think basketball should be about who plays best, not about personal issues. And Clark had clearly played the best. Caitlin Clark isn't just a name in the news for no reason. She changed how people watch and think about basketball. She showed that what matters is talent, skill, and leadership. Basketball has had a lot of talk about race. But Clark's amazing playing cut through all of that. Yes, some black players didn't like her because she's white, but that doesn't change the fact that many black players are fan favorites because they play so well. Look at LeBron James. He's been amazing in the NBA for years, and everyone knows he cares about skill, not skin color. When LeBron said Clark was revolutionary, he meant it. LeBron respects skill, and he saw in Clark someone like himself. A player with great vision, leadership, and the ability to make everyone around her better. That's what real athletes care about, how good you are at the game, not what you look like. It's not just LeBron. WNBA stars like Aja Wilson and Brittany Griner have tons of fans because they're amazing players, not because of their race. What do they all have in common? Skill, pure talent. And that's why people loved Clark. Some people say Clark only got famous because she's white. That's ridiculous. Let's look at the facts. Clark changed the game. She played with creativity and intensity that made everyone want to watch. People didn't become her fans because of her skin color. They loved her because she was changing how the game is played. Basketball fans could see she was making her team better and making the whole sport more exciting. That's why people loved Clark. It was about how she played, not what she looked like. The numbers prove it. When Clark played, more people watched Indiana Fever games than ever before. Fans weren't watching because of race. They were watching because they knew they'd see something amazing. Clark changed the game, and people wanted to see what she'd do next. That's what real basketball fans care about. As for Swoopes, her old-fashioned views look more and more out of place. She voted for Angel Reese in the rookie race, and it looks like she did it for the wrong reasons. But the league and the fans have moved on. Swoopes tried to make this about race, but all she did was make people appreciate Clark's legacy even more. People are tired of these old arguments. They want to support players who play well, no matter what they look like or where they come from. That's the real story here. It's not about Swoopes' bad vote or Reese's okay season. It's about Caitlin Clark and how she changed the WNBA. She showed that talent is what matters most. That's the future of basketball, and it looks brighter than ever, even though Clark has left the league.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are like, they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very disrespectful.
Angel Reese's new podcast was meant to boost her fame, but it backfired and upset millions of Taylor Swift fans. Now, she's facing the biggest mistake of her career. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is gaining unexpected support and coming out ahead.
It got to a point where it was like, I don't even care what y'all have to say no more. It's
Yeah.
like, y'all don't even know what's going on.
But I commend you because I feel like you showed a lot of grace and a lot of class.
Reese launched her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, confident that inviting Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex, as a guest would be a great move. For context, Travis Kelce is now dating Taylor Swift. However, instead of boosting her popularity, Reese faced backlash from angry Swifties, and her plan completely backfired.
More Swifties are joining Caitlyn FC by the second. Oh, it's so over for the league. Swifties becoming Caitlyn Clark stans is such a W.
The situation worsened when Swifties, known for their loyalty, dug into Reese's social media. What they found was an old post from Caitlyn Clark welcoming Taylor Swift to the Kansas City Chiefs fan base. Suddenly, Clark became their new favorite basketball player.
And I'm not sure if the WNBA is ready for the ramifications of what has just been unleashed, which is the Swifties joining CCFC.
This news caused something no one expected. Taylor Swift fans and Caitlyn Clark fans teamed up, making one big group. Now, Angel Reese is stuck in the middle of these two strong fan groups.
You know, there are some people, like, just in life, you know there are some people you don't want to piss off. Like, you know it's not going to end up well for you. There are some people you don't joke about because you know it's not going to end well for you. You know there are some people you don't want on your bad side because it's not going to end well for you.
The backlash against Reese was intense. Millions of fans mobilized against her, mocking her podcast and criticizing her every move. Some describe it as a cultural war, with Reese severely underestimating the influence of Swift's fan base. This surprise teamwork is making Caitlyn Clark more popular than ever. Her social media followers are growing fast, while Angel Reese's followers are said to be going down.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
The well-known hand wave incident from the NCAA championship is now causing trouble for Reese. In that intense game, she taunted Caitlyn Clark with an unsportsmanlike hand wave.
But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlyn Clark when you were beating her for the national championship.
She taunted Caitlyn Clark.
Clark's response was outstanding. She stayed calm, focused on her game, and let her skills do the talking. This impressed fans, both old and new, who are now supporting her like never before.
Since the Marina Mabry trade, and she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlyn Clark for three, rattles it around for her first deep shot.
Well, she's definitely taken that golden advice, recently being the first WNBA player that has recorded consecutive 20-plus point rebound games.
The situation has taken an even darker turn. Reese is now alleging that Clark's fans are responsible for sexual harassment and circulating fake AI images.
I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that. But when it comes to death threats, like I'm talking about people have come down to my address, follow me home. Like it's come down to that. Multiple occasions, people have made AI pictures of me like naked, literally.
Really?
They have sent it to my family members. My family members are like, uncles are sending it to me like,
no.
Are you naked on Instagram?
Conflict has moved beyond the court and is escalating in unforeseen ways.
I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlyn Clark. She thinks she's, the reason why this is all happening here. Caitlyn Clark was going to get eyeballs whether she played against Angel Reese in LSU or not.
Today, the contrast between the two players is stark. While Reese deals with podcast backlash, Clark is riding a wave of support that's transforming women's basketball. This dramatic shift can be traced back to that single moment on the court. Clark is rising beyond just being a basketball star. She's becoming a well-known name and entering pop culture in a way that's rare for women in sports. Some are even calling her Taylor Swift in tennis shoes, comparing her to one of the world's biggest pop stars. This rise in popularity goes beyond just social media numbers.